And we're live. Good evening, Stunthangar fans, Aeromodelers everywhere. And welcome to our Monday night show. It is March the 9th, 2020. And I'll be your host. I'm Rusty. I'll be your host here until, midnight or so. Depends on how long the conversation goes. The links are posted in the usual places, meaning if you go to stunthanger.com control line forums, you can go to the At the Bench thread on the main forum page, scroll down past the open forums, the most popular area, and look for the section called Live Streams. And the thread that I post in there is called At the Bench. And tonight's show is linked in that first post with today's date in the title. Click that if you want to come in here with your camera and microphones. And if you either don't have a camera or microphone or would rather hang out in anonymity on YouTube or just use the text chat box, you can do that if you go to the Stunt Hanger YouTube page. And so you get full service from both places. If you type in the chat box, I'll try to incorporate your questions, answers, and whatever else you've got into our conversations here. And looks like we've got a couple of them pawing at the gates already out there in YouTube land. Hey, Bob Bishop and hey, SD70, both are out there waiting to join the show. So y'all are our first guest tonight. Hadn't got anybody in video yet. Glad to see you, Bob. Sometimes you've been having to work too much and hadn't been able to get in, hadn't been able to get in here with us right away. But glad to have you. And remember, for you folks that are in here on the live stream, to um, place your microphones in an area that doesn't pick up vibrations and direct sound from your speakers. Of course, I know some of them built into laptops, etc., and you don't have that option, but do the best you can to limit the sound that we get reverberating through the mics, keeps the feedback down, and also, remember, some of us are louder than others, and grab the stage more easily. So keep an eye out for who's talking before you begin talking, and make sure you're not stepping on somebody's noise. And we'll keep it family friendly. Don't say anything you wouldn't say in the family room with your kids in tow, and we'll get along fine. So, hey, we've got a video visitor now. John Miller's joined us already. How you doing, John?
I'm doing fine. How about you?
I'm pretty good. Looks like we got a pretty good stable of tubers out there now. While I was talking, I already said hi to Bob Bishop and SD70, our big iron train driver, is out there, and Gary Sinclair's out there. Hey, Gary. And let's see, I saw, yeah, Jackson Avley's out there too. And he says he'll hang in till he falls asleep. And being Monday night, we might not go till 2 o'clock in the morning. We've been having a pretty good run of 2 o'clockers lately, and that works on me the next day. I'm telling you what, I got to get more sleep than some of you guys apparently. But anyway, let's see. First post we got in YouTube out there was from SD70, and he says when he finally ever gets in here on camera and microphone, he's gonna broadcast from Steamtown, where there's it must be a train museum. I'm not sure, a train yard at least, and take us to see one, some of the big iron haulers. And what have we got down here? We've got a picture of a train going. Is that John? Oh, that's John Miller that's got a train picture in there. And hey, Tom, how are you today?
That's
Rusty, fighting a little bit of something, but otherwise I'm doing okay.
You're probably worn out by now, aren't you? I'm gonna flip
Yeah,
over to John's picture while we talk to each other. And there's John's choo-choo train. And what is that? That's an old steamer, is it not, John? What have you
that's
got
the
there?
that's the big boy. That's the really big one they built. happened to pass through our little town here this past summer. So we got a picture of it. I'm sorry I've shaken it around so much. But yeah, that was one of the last of the big steamers that was ever built, I believe. Anyway, that was
Wow.
for our train driver. He might recognize her. He probably knows about it.
Yeah, I bet he knows more about it than we do. So I'd like to hear a comparison between the pulling power and specifications on the old steamers as compared with the new diesel electrics. The new diesel electrics are some kind of awesome machines. And Tom, we enjoyed your video the other night. It kind of surprised us. I didn't know what was happening at first.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I didn't have any way of typing in the
Yeah.
chat or showing video or anything. So,
Well, I
sorry
later
about
came to find out that you had typed some messages in the chat box, but yeah, I was oblivious to that, and I get pretty confused easy. I get pretty flustered when things go crazy all of a sudden, and for some reason, when you screen share big stuff like that, videos, people's microphones and cameras start switching on and off, so everybody starts freaking out. I freak out, and anyway, it all went good. It came out fine on the reruns. However, the song that was embedded in it, which is a cool song, by the way, Deep Purple's Highway Star, I hope I can say that on the air, got us a copyright warning. And so I had to go in and edit the sound out. So we did not get to hear anything for the length of time that Highway Star was playing in the background. That was
Oh,
disappointing,
right.
but that's YouTube. That's YouTube.
Yeah.
I made a video one time of how to glue a wing into a profile twister, and I had Pandora going on a little speaker in the background, and they dinged me and took my video down until I edited it and put it back up, and they wouldn't let me play in certain countries and on certain devices. Whatever the rules are, they're complicated. But anyway,
So
it's
when
back.
I posted that, we only were halfway through our competition. So on Saturday, we won both matches on Saturday. And so that
Excellent.
put us into the playoffs. And we won the quarterfinals, we won the semifinals, which put us in the finals. So it was down to just two groups, and we lost to one of the other groups. So we came in second place out of 63 schools.
Outstanding.
Excellent.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And
So that
I
qualifies.
can hear it in your voice, buddy. You sound tired, and like you were talking. I can tell after the first day at Huntersville or some of the contests, I'm hoarse from talking over the noise so much, and you sound kind of like I do after an event like that. So good
Yeah, I
work.
probably won't be on too long tonight.
That was quite a show. I had no idea when I saw you doing your practice stuff. I'm like, yeah, that's interesting and cool, and y'all had it seriously decked out with a professional looking competition rink, and they were going at it. I mean, and y'all, they were putting the balls through the holes too. It was pretty good, and the scoopers were scooping, and the throwers were throwing, and the hangers were hanging, and everything clicked off really well. So congratulations on that. You
Thank
guys
you.
did a great job.
It was a whole team effort. The kids work together and make up those plans, and I just help out with whatever they need help with, but they do the work.
Excellent. Well, hopefully you get some rest and you'll survive that without getting a full blown cold or anything. But it's worth it to get those kids involved in something like that. Hopefully you've inspired a few future engineers
Yeah,
and
let's hope
robot experts. I hope so. Let me scan down the YouTube thing. I've seen the text moving around, which means somebody's typing. Let's see. Gary Sinclair's, hi, Rusty. We're ready for a good night. Oh, hey, Gary, good to see you. I think I might have missed you when I was going through my intros out there. And let's see, SD70, the Pennsylvania T1 duplex is being built. Bob Bishop says, saw that big boy at Pomona years ago. He must be talking about the train. I'm not sure. And oh, it looks like Sparky posted something. He said, accept the copyright strike. And so and the strike's cleared up, though. If that is you out there, Sparky, you're usually dark yellow. I'm bright yellow. We both get called Stunthanger, so it's hard to tell which one of us is talking. But since I hadn't typed anything, Bob Bishop says, have heard they use much the same software as that Shazam app, looking for music violations. I don't know. I just know when we get one. And SD70 says he won't be on for too long because he has to drive a train 11Z. That's a train talk from Binghamton, New York to Enola Yard in Harrisburg. So he's got to go drive a train later on. So, well, drive safe, SD, and watch out for other big iron out there. My best friend died in a train wreck, actually, but he was on a what was the one in the northeast corridor when the Amtrak, that's right, and the Conrail freighter collided in 1986 or mid 80s, early 80s, somewhere around there. Let's see, it had to be after 85, 6, 7, 86, 87, somewhere like that. Yeah, my best friend was going with his fiance to their wedding rehearsal party, and went up front to see if he could find some better seats. And he was in the only car that anybody died in that wreck. 16 people in that car were killed when that Conrail freighter pulled out in front of in front of his train. So that really sucked. Anyway, so let's see, we got some.
Are you interested in taking a look at a couple of pictures close up of the robot?
I am. Hang on just a second. I got to police the chat box a little bit first. It looks like we got some funny business going on. So hang on while I do that. And I will get right back with you. I usually don't interrupt y'all to do this, but I don't want to miss anything. That's the problem, is when I have to do this, when the YouTube box is busy, I miss a lot of what's going on in the show. And okay, go ahead and show us what you got, Tom.
All right. Let's see here. Gotta figure out how to do this again. I think share the app, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just make sure whatever we do, there's no music involved in it. That was courtesy of Sparky typing in from the background. He's one of our workers tonight. So maybe
These are just some pictures.
Maybe Sparky can help me police the tubers, because, like I said,
Did that come up?
not yet. Here it comes. Sometimes it takes a minute, and it depends on the YouTube. It depends on the bandwidth on your end too. You seem to be okay tonight that way.
So this is the front, showing the front intake, and then a series of belts that we use to handle the balls. The first set of belts is to intake several balls into the robot. And then the second set of belts is to feed the balls to the shooter. And
are you seeing anything, John?
Nope, just a purple circle with a camera in it.
I'm not either. Let me look at the YouTube stream page and see if we're getting it over there.
It says connection lost.
Oh.
Yeah, we're suffering from low bandwidth over there on YouTube right now, it says.
Oops.
Why don't we hold on? Why don't we hold on and see if we can get it back? I haven't had low bandwidth problems in the preview pane in a long time, but it looks like we got it tonight. I'll put it in pause. We got 16. Yeah, we're not getting any pictures tonight, Tom. Hey, Lynn, how are you tonight?
Hey, gentlemen, how's it going?
Not bad. How about you?
Pretty good. What's new and exciting?
Well, we can't talk about you anymore.
Why is that? I'm sitting right here. Go nuts.
Saw the post on your wife put up about how she practiced. That's not a bad way.
Yeah, it seems to work okay. She puts the laser pointer on top of the handle, and then when you give it up, it goes. It works really well, actually. It's surprising how well it works. Her form is a lot better than it was, so we'll see what happens in the spring. It's coming.
Anything that works, you know?
Yeah, anything that helps. And the thing is, we don't get any flying here during the winter at all. There's no way. So it's like we go 6 months with nothing.
Go, you're 200 miles south of Duluth.
Yeah, true enough.
You're in the banana belt of Canada.
Yeah, we are. It's very true. That's exactly what I call it, the banana belt. We could have flown today, but it was too windy. It was really windy today.
Well,
what's the temperature like?
It was 16. Well, let's see. So that would work out to, it was about 60 degrees today.
Well, that's not too bad, but yeah, windy's not good.
No, it was windier than windy. But yeah. So what'd you guys get up to today?
Got up to 60 here.
Okay. Yeah, so about the same.
No wind.
Yeah, actually, I think we hit 67 today.
Good for
and
you.
It was a breezy 67 with a little chill in it, but not too bad. So as March marches along, we'll get a little bit warmer and warmer, and it'll
Exactly.
tease us until
That's
May
right.
with good days and bad days. It'll drive you nuts with teaser days, but
You betcha.
it'll get here eventually. I'm just glad to have survived February in more or less one piece. If I can always figure if I can make it through February, I've made it through another winter. Because I'm sure when I die, it'll be a cold, gray winter day. I'm always glad to pop out at the other end.
That's right.
Hey, Rusty.
Yeah.
Rusty, did you get any work done on your Cardinal? I'm looking forward to its debut.
No, I've been sick, man. I have not been out to the shop until today. I hadn't been out to the shop at all. Almost month of February. I was sick for the month of February, and I fell down and busted myself up a couple of weeks ago, and so no, I hadn't gotten any work.
I understand.
Nothing. No.
I've been trying to get some of my areas, my hobby areas. They've been sitting here for almost 3 years. I haven't been able to hardly use them. And darn it, but I finally figured out how to do it. Just put in 15 minutes a day. It's amazing how much you can get done in 15 minutes.
Good for you. That's an awesome idea, John. 15 minutes is better than no minutes. That's what I always say.
Uh-huh.
It is.
And no
That's,
matter how much I hate it, I can do it for 15 minutes.
And you know what? If you can sit in a chair at a desk and use your hands, you can do stuff. It may not be
hey, look
necessarily all the things you want to do, but you do a little bit.
Yep.
look what
Hey,
Sparky's got.
Sparky.
What you got there, Sparky?
Well, I was going to tell you, but if I ever get a word in here, because I'm headed to bed. This is something Gary Sinclair made for me from the YouTube channel.
All
Okay.
right.
That looks awesome.
Oh,
That's your new
yeah,
Tucker,
large.
isn't it?
Gary, you're
Yeah.
out. I want to thank you for it. It's great. I just love it.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I've got one of the copies of it here, so and the camera doesn't really do it justice. I saw the original picture, and it's just got some beautiful little collage work in there. Those the Tucker in different stages of development with molds and being fiberglass and different stages of finishing, and yeah, it's really nice. I'm glad Gary could do that. Gary does a lot for us to be a YouTuber that doesn't have the ability to come in with camera and mic much. So we thank you, Gary.
Need to get him to make a new Stunthangar banner for the channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good.
The guy's talented.
That's outstanding.
Yeah, he does the calendars. I think I announced it when March came along a week ago. It's Charles. It's Charles Carter week now. I don't know if I got
Yeah.
the big picture or not, but there's Charles holding his Zoe life. So I don't get to be. It was me and Tom Luciano holding our Super Satans last
I got
month.
mine right here.
Now Charles Carter.
It's awesome. So that Zoe life, is it a nobler?
It
It
is.
looks like a
I believe
nobler.
it.
Yeah, it looks
I
nice.
believe. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks very nice.
I don't know what iteration of the Noble it is.
Yeah, that's hard to tell. Yeah, I don't think I can tell.
I'm gonna leave Sparky on stage because I think he went to get something to show us. I'm not sure.
No,
Okay, here he comes.
no, I didn't get nothing to show you. I just was looking at my calendar to see what month.
Oh, he hasn't got his up to
Okay.
date yet. He's working on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to highlight it at the change of every month. Oh, Gary sends back you're welcome, Sparky.
I like the calendar.
yeah.
I keep it at my desk. It's great.
Yeah.
Tom, what was your temperature today?
40 degrees. It got up to 40 degrees.
Well, that ice is going to melt and go out pretty soon.
About between the 1st and the 15th of April.
Yeah. Tax day.
Tom, it sounds like you got a cold.
Yeah, I went to the doctor today.
Oh, that sucks.
Too much robot competition, I guess.
Yeah,
Wore
the
me out.
competition's beating you up, wore you out. That's right. So where did you finish up in that?
2nd place out of 63.
Good for you. That's amazing.
And we qualified to go to the world competition now.
That's awesome. Good for you. I guess the kids are excited, eh?
Oh, yes.
Friday night we got to talking with Mike Lundke about and Steve Hines too about guns and shooting and stuff like that, and brought up the fact that I've got a Parker Brothers, old Parker Brothers side by side 20 gauge shotgun, and they wanted to see it, so I brought it out to show, but I want to wait until they show up, and
That's good.
we got
Cool.
it parked right next So if y'all get out of hand, I can just fix you right there and then.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, at one time, Rusty, I had a old Parker Brothers side by side 12 gauge, beautiful piece of machinery, very old, and it had seen its better days. It was due for retirement, and I happened to mention it at the gun shop, and the owner says made me a deal for it. I told them what was wrong with it. They made me a deal for it. I couldn't refuse, so I sold the darn thing because I knew I'd
Yeah,
never be able to
get
afford to
that
get it
money
back
anywhere
in.
else.
Yeah, well, I couldn't get it
Yeah,
back into working condition.
Well, I'm going to
mine's
bed.
in good shape. I don't think.
Good night,
Good
Sparky.
night, Sparky.
Good night, Sparky. Thanks for coming in. I don't. I don't think mine's had much use. Actually, I can reach it, so I'll go ahead and give you a preview of it. But it has got some patina now. More, more from sitting because I always took really good care of it. I don't know if how well y'all can see what I've got here,
That's
and
pretty good.
describe. I can describe the markings later on and tell you what all's on it. It's got some patina that it didn't used to have, but it's a beautiful gun. However, the barrel had started showing signs of age, and it had a bluish tint to its color. Now we're talking about a teenager here. Rusty, the teenager, decided he'd go down to Sears and get a rebluing kit. And so that is the reason that it's got a brownish looking color. I don't know if it's even visible on camera or not, but that's the way it came out after I sanded it and reblued it, for lack of a better term. And I guess I probably took some value off of it when I did that. When Steve and Mike and them, if they come around, I'll ask them what they think about that. But I wanted to use it, well, like we were discussing the other night. I'm a guy that uses stuff rather than parks it and looks at it and talks about it. And so it couldn't be used. I didn't feel like it should be used without cleaning up, carrying it around in the woods with drizzling rain and that kind of thing, which I did, and so it doesn't show any signs of being worse for the wear. Mechanically, it's certainly as good as it ever was. And I think it's as good as it was when it was brand new right now.
When was the
But
last time it was shot?
probably, let's see, 38, 48, 58. Probably about 44 years, 43, 44 years ago.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah. I was probably, I don't know, 17 or 18, something like that. I'm almost 65 now, or I'm almost 64 now. And so it's been that long. I just
How'd you
quit
come about?
using it.
How'd you come about having it?
My grandfather bought it for as a squirrel gun, I think as a varmint gun. And of course, I took it out, and another good thing I did was I shot my grass, like number 4 duck. Uh, so those and half another box through it. That hopefully didn't loosen anything up. I can't tell that it changed anything about the gun, but I quit doing that. And I shot a few. I went dove hunting a few times with it, and shot a few number 7 shot out of it, and that sort of thing. Some number 9 shot. But other than that, it never had heavy use ever in its life. It got it the most use I think it ever had when I had it. I don't think my grandfather used it much. I just think I took better care of it than he did.
Yeah.
Somebody
Well, I
typed a
kind of
minute ago that I took a huge amount of value off of it when I reblued it, but I don't. I got to look back through and see. Minnesota Mike said that. Yeah, he said I took a ton of value off by home bluing it.
Yeah, he's right. Well, I thought maybe it came down by way of inheritance, because those kind of shotguns usually that's how they get around.
Yeah, I inherited 2 shotguns. The Parker brothers, and there was an old 12 gauge Stevens that appeared to be a piece of junk to me. And I don't, the palm grip is missing from it. I have no idea who took it off and misplaced it, or who could have misplaced it, but it's gone. And my dad used to take that gun when we'd go tromping through the woods hunting squirrels and birds and stuff, but he hardly ever shot that one. But I was kind of scared of that gun, so a 20 gauge was better for me. It fit the needs that I had out in the woods better than a 12 gauge did.
Yeah.
And I never did have a pump shotgun or anything like that.
I got involved in trap shooting, and so I used a Remington Wingmaster 870 with a 30-inch full choke barrel. Loved that shotgun.
I shot skeet with
like
this one. I shot skeet with this one. That's one of the things I did too.
Yeah. How'd you like the crossing shot?
I was pretty good at it, actually, but I didn't do anything fancy, and we did not have any real skeet shooters with us. It was me and a friend with a hand thrower and a box of clay pigeons. So we didn't know what the hell we were doing. We threw them straight away, and we'd throw them across, and we never did have 2 of them flying at the same time. We only had one thrower.
Yeah, that was the fun station. I always enjoyed it. You got the high house on the right, I believe it is, and the low one on the left, and one fires, and what you got to do is you catch this one going over, you hit that one and pick this one up going this way. It was fun.
I had fun just shooting shit. That was about all I ever did. I never was a real hunter. I don't know how to hunt.
We were teenagers, you know. That's what you did. You shot stuff.
Yeah. I need to put some money in the cuss jar now. I just cussed.
I noticed.
Talking about shooting shit. I guess you can say that.
No, you just did it again. That's 2. Keep going. You'll run out of money yet.
We might have to take that S word off the list of banned words because everybody uses it these days.
Well, that's true.
No, you can always say it in Spanish.
Yeah, say it in Spanish. Same thing.
What's the word in Spanish?
I don't know.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, it just doesn't have the same ring to it.
No, it doesn't work as good. It doesn't have the same effect, does it?
No. Going out and shooting caca sounds like you're shooting cow patties or something.
Oh,
you get too close. You don't want to get too close when you pull both triggers on a cow patty.
You don't want to be downrange anymore.
Yeah, you're liable to get cow patty all over you.
Check which way the wind's blowing. Yeah, another hobby where the wind matters.
That's right.
Yeah.
Here comes the big green hen. That Mike Wonky.
Looks like.
Yeah.
That's him.
Here he comes.
Here he comes.
It always takes him. It takes him a minute to get his hair combed and his lipstick on.
We should all start clapping when he comes in.
He's looking for his shotgun.
Yeah. He's got cow patties to deal with.
You know, I can hear you jackasses cackling. sound
There
like a
he
bunch
is.
sound like a bunch of old hens.
Hi, Mike.
How's it
Hey,
going?
Mike.
Howdy,
What's
howdy.
going on, buddy?
Not much. Just trying to get the kids down for bed after a 4-day weekend. Told you
Oh, wow.
they canceled school Friday and today because of coronavirus, and got the email
Oh,
tonight.
no.
They're going back tomorrow. They spent the 4 days disinfecting and deep cleaning all the schools in my county. Kids thought they were going to be off all week, so they're a little PO'd that they got to go back to school tomorrow.
Bummer
Yeah,
for
now
them.
they can go back up.
Well, yeah, and after 4 days of them staying up till midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, it's hard to get them down.
You've had enough.
You know, they'll be sleeping in class.
Especially with daylight savings time, it's bright light later. I remember my parents, when I first realized what daylight savings time meant, my parents were trying to get me to go to bed, but the sun was still up. I'm like, what? I don't
Yeah,
think
well,
so.
it was light till about 7 o'clock here yesterday after
Yeah.
daylight saving time. So Sam and I spent the whole day yesterday just running RC cars. We were just tearing them up all day long.
Wow.
Y'all
We
running them in the
in
dirt, or y'all running on pavement?
pavement and the grass, like down the driveway and then back up through the grass. And then we built a couple
Yeah.
of ramps to jump. I ordered 2 more batteries yesterday because we've got 6 batteries now, but we need 8 because of how long it takes to charge them with one charger. So, Christ, I'm going to have more. You know, the batteries are $50 a pop. It's $100 for 2 batteries for those things. And
Welcome to electric, eh?
I've
Wow.
spent. Let me see here. Well, 8 batteries is $400, and one car is $300. So I've spent more in batteries than I did on one car. But I tried to get some cheap lipos, a different brand, Ovonic. Have any of you guys ever used Ovonic?
No.
Nope, never heard of them.
Okay. So we're running Traxxas cars. They're 5,000 milliamp 2S batteries, and they're $49 a piece. And they got a special connector on them. It's called a Traxxas IB connector. It's not like Dean's or JST or any of that other stuff.
Okay.
So I found these 6,200 milliamp batteries, 2 for $45. And I thought, okay, that's like half the price of the Traxxas. I'll buy a couple of those.
For sure.
So I bought them, and they came with Dean's connectors. And I made up a jumper to go from the Dean's connector to the Traxxas connector, so I didn't have to change anything on the car. I can just use the
That's right.
little jumper to do it. Well, these things don't last maybe about 2/3 as long as the 5,000 milliamp Traxxas batteries.
Oh, no.
We
Yeah.
get about 25 minutes of runtime on the Traxxas batteries, and I'm getting like 17 minutes, 16 or 17 minutes on these. And they're 1,200 milliamps more. They're supposed to have more capacity, but they peter out.
They're not doing it.
They're not doing it. So I think I might leave the guy some crappy feedback on his eBay store, because they should have. I don't think they're 6,200 milliamps. I think he's selling them like that, and they're mislabeled, because there's no way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the
they're
other
not
thing is,
charging.
when they're dead charged, they only take 4,000 milliamps is all it puts in.
No, that's not right.
It's not right, right? It should
No,
be
that's not right. It
1,000.
should take more than that.
Yeah. So because the Traxxas batteries go all the way to 5,000 when I charge them. It's a 5,000
Exactly.
milliamp battery, and it goes all the way to 5,000. These that are labeled 6,200 only go to
So
4,000.
it should go to 60. Yeah, it should go right up, and it's not
That's
doing
what
it. Okay.
So I think
Yeah.
I've got some mislabeled batteries there.
Yeah, something's not right.
Right.
Either they didn't pass muster and they got sold to some less than honest reseller that relabeled them whatever they wanted to.
Well, I think that's what I'm going to tell the guy. I'm going to be like, look, they're not taking 6,200 when I charge them, and they don't last as long as a 5,000 milliamp battery. Maybe I'll give him a chance to, maybe he can
Redeem himself. Yeah.
send me another pair or something,
Let's do something here. Exactly.
Right. They're not running as advertised. Let's just say that. They're not
Exactly.
advertised.
And the way to go about it is when you're talking to them, say, look, I'm doing it to save your business.
Right.
You know,
Well, and the thing was,
you try to do it the diplomatic way at first. If he turns out to be a prick, then you deal. Oh, sorry, but
Yeah.
then my turn.
I mean, the price was right. Like I said, they were $27. No, $45. I can't do math in my head. They were $22 a piece. So I mean,
Right.
the price is right. But if they're 4,000s, they should say they're 4,000s.
4,000. Exactly. That's a
It'd
different
be
story. For
4,000,
sure.
yeah.
But that's all.
So how's the Galaxy coming?
I haven't touched it since we were piddling around on Friday night.
Okay.
I had the kids all weekend. My wife was working. I didn't really get any shop time, so I'm gonna do a little sanding here.
I didn't get a lot myself,
This is
but
your
it's
wife's
getting there.
super busy season too, isn't it? She's
It
an
is.
accountant, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tax season, so she's pretty busy. But next week I should get quite a bit done. Kids will be on spring break. The wife's taking them to North Carolina. I get a whole week to myself to do whatever I want. So it will be shop time.
Big time.
Yeah, I got to get cracking, man. I got to get that SV done. I got to get that Tom Dixon plane done. The combat stuff I can wait on. I do got to build a bunch of combat, but I don't think our first combat contest won't be till the Nats, actually. Sam will fly. Sam's going to fly speed limit at Brodak. I don't think I'm going to fly it this year. And I got enough planes for him to get through speed limit okay. But we're definitely we're going to need planes for the Nats, fast and speed limit, and a couple half A's. But I've got till July to get those done. So still the main focus is getting a couple of stunt planes built for myself before Arkansas, before May 1st. So what we got? Yeah, I don't have much time, do I? I got about 8 weeks, 7 weeks, I think.
7.5 weeks of grind, baby.
Yeah. Well,
so, you're not alone. I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to finish my new Cardinal and two of Naomi's planes we're working on together. It's just crazy. Same deal.
I can always test fly it and trim it out at the contest on Friday, I guess, right?
That's what we'll be doing.
Yeah.
We're gonna go to Joe Knoll and spend the week trimming.
Yep.
Because we probably won't get hardly any flying here before we go. We'll see. We might get a bit.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. We would have flown yesterday. We could have drugged some of Sam's stuff out, but even though it was like 72 degrees and sunny and beautiful, the wind was honking like 25.
Yeah, we had the same problem here today. Brad and I could have got out today, but it was windier than windy.
Yeah, we flew a bunch of kites yesterday too. We got a lot of kites. We got about a dozen different kites. So if we're ready to fly, we just go out and fly kites in the yard too. But that's
Do you have one of those kites that? Do you have an aerobatic kite?
I've got all kinds of kites, man. I've got parafoil.
Like I have one of these aerobatic kites with the two handles.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did is I put a single handle on it, put one line on the up, one line on the down, and fly it like an airplane. It works amazing.
Let me show you this one. This is made for a control line handle. You fly this on a 4-inch hot rock.
Right.
And Arlene Mears, Bobby Mears' wife, makes these.
Right.
So, and Bob's
That's awesome.
He's F2D combat guy. These are actually called combat kites. And every couple of years, she takes orders and she sells them at the Nats. And I want to say they were like $60 or something like that. But you fly this on a 4-inch hot rock control line handle.
Okay.
On
That's awesome.
Just on 52-foot lines. and it's exactly like flying a control line plane.
Yeah, because when you give it up, it turns inside. When you give it down, it turns the way your airplane would. It's
Exactly.
fantastic.
Yeah,
That's
one
what
of
I did.
Yeah, these are really
combat kites. He brought some out to the fort one time, and he's got all different shapes and sizes, but you can just about fly like a regular pattern with it. I mean, it goes where you point it. He built it out of he called them buka kites. And have you ever heard that term before? Buka, buka kites.
no.
Well, you can
He
do
made it
everything
out of
with them except overheads.
Correct. And I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, in 20 miles an hour, this little thing gets whipping, man. It's
You
fast.
betcha.
It's
Yeah,
fast.
I've got the same thing going on with mine, but I'd love to try one of those because I bet they're even better.
Yeah, they're pretty badass. So I got this little one to fly on the hot rock. I do have some other dual handled kites, bigger like this, but bigger. And then I've got a couple of foils, parachute foil kites,
Okay,
two-handled ones.
cool.
I tell you what, I bought those on eBay from China for they were like $17 or something with free shipping from China. They took
Yeah.
forever to show up, but they're great kites. They're really
That's
nice
awesome.
little parafoil.
Cool.
You try to buy one like that in the US, and they're $60 or $70.
Okay, wow.
So it's a good cheap foil kite.
You know that the Chinese had a man-carrying kite way back when.
Oh yeah.
Guy actually said they'd use it in battle. He'd get up where he could see the whole battle going on. Well, you had to trust the handler down on the ground, I guess.
Yeah, they used to
I
float
guess.
here all the time.
I almost bought one of those parafoil kites when I lived in Wisconsin. I'm a ham radio operator as well, and I had a little boat. I wanted to take it up on north of the island there at the end of the peninsula, and just anchor it and operate from there. The wind always blowing a bit. I was gonna tie the one end of the antenna to the kite and let the kite hold it up there and just operate off it. Being in the boat with the water for a ground makes a great antenna system. And I thought I'd do real good. It never did it. Wish I had it now. Don't live there anymore.
My neighbor's a ham guy. My neighbor's a ham guy and a big weather guy. He's got a whole weather station in his yard, and he's got a big ham radio. I go over there once in a while and look at all the pins on his board, the people he's talked to.
Well, yeah, it's a fun hobby. It's kind of like our flying hobby.
We all have our hobbies.
It's a
some of us, a couple of them.
It's an apocalypse communication system, is what it is, man. If the grid ever goes down, that's the only way you're going to get information is on radios.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah, and speaking of that, even the new radios are all transistorized, and solid states suffer greatly with an EMP pulse.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these guys that are set up to do that have either got Faraday cages built around their equipment to shield their equipment, or they've got old tube radios sitting somewhere
just
as
waiting.
a backup, because the tube radios don't seem to be affected by the EMP pulse nearly as badly as a transistorized radio.
I do have I've got a bunch of Faraday flashlights and 2 Faraday radios just put in our emergency preparedness kit. I'm not one of those doomsdayers or preppers or anything like that, but it does make sense to have a few things that don't run on electricity that you can make your own if you need it in the event of a natural disaster or something like that. I mean, just East Nashville, the tornado last week. I got friends that still don't have power,
Wow.
Yeah.
and they've lost all their food or they're scrambling for generators, and you can't buy a generator within 100 miles of Nashville right now,
Wow.
Just little things like that make sense. You need flashlights. I've got my my father-in-law's, he's deceased, but I have his lamp collection, his oil lamp collection. Like a dozen of them or so, and so I put a few
Good to
gallons
have them.
up in the garage, and we've used
Yeah.
it. We've had power outages for a day or so. I use the oil lamps so we can see around the house.
When I lived in Alaska,
I've
I
got
had
Coleman's
when I lived in Alaska, I built a cabin. It was, maybe quarter of a mile from the end of the power lines. So I was off the grid. I had no electricity. I had no running water. It was back to the old timey living. I had an Aladdin lamp. I wish I could get another one. That thing put out the light of a 150-watt light bulb. It had the like a mantle on it, and that thing would go. And then that other byproduct came out there in the cold parts of the winter. And that when you're sitting there in the light, that lantern putting out a heck of a lot of heat.
Puts out heat. Yeah, most of the ones I got from my father-in-law are wick lamps, but I do have two of the lamps that have the mantles. Like it still has a wick, but it's got a mantle that sits over the top.
Right.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, it's got a.
It'll heat
Yeah.
the room.
I got two of those. I have to swap pumps to pump them both up though, because one of the pumps has got a bad diaphragm on it.
Well, these are
looks
kerosene
like,
lanterns.
Yeah.
Hey, Bill.
These are kerosene lanterns, and the one I had, the Aladdin, had a circular wick on it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Now you can talk, Rusty.
I was just saying hi, Bill. How
Hi
you doing
there.
tonight?
Hey, Bill.
Hey.
Hey, Bill.
So has everybody seen that video that was on Vimeo? It's called Fun with a question mark. And it's about this father and son. They go in this hobby shop, and it's like a modern hobby shop. And here they buy a Cox 049 powered Mustang, and they go fly it.
Yeah.
I've seen that one.
Yeah.
I saw that.
It's been making the rounds. The guy smashes it to bits, and then he's bound and determined to glue it back together and get it in the air.
Yeah, they're gluing it with like Elmer's glue with a plastic model.
Yeah, it's a cute video. It's a cute video.
Like me and my Stuka. Me and my Stuka sound a lot like that.
Well, it's not too far off reality.
Dad was good with epoxy, so he kept the Stuka in the air for a few flights, but there's only so much you can re-glue one.
Yeah, some of those old Cox
came home
airplanes
with-
held up better than others to crashes.
Yeah. After the Stuka finally couldn't be fixed, he came home with a PT-19 one day and a couple of boxes of rubber bands, and so we flew that until I could fly the tank out and never looked back.
Your dad was better than mine. My dad said, well, that's the end of that. That's all he said. It went up, it crashed. He goes, well, that's the
my
end
dad
of
was
that.
a fun guy. My dad was a pretty fun guy.
Let me tell you a story about how I learned about glue compatibility and what it works on and what it doesn't. When I was about 7, my dad's RC club, the Detroit Aeromodeling, they gave away these foam wing, rubber powered free flight models to all the guys in the club. I don't know where they got them or what the deal was, but it was a foam wing, rubber powered plane, and all the members got one. And while Dad was at work, I took it out, tried to fly it in the yard, of course, hit the house with it and broke the wing off it. So me being the smart 7-year-old I was going to glue this thing back together so I wouldn't get busted for playing with it. So I grabbed the old bottle of Sig Mint off of Dad's
I know where this is going.
Yeah, you know what happened next. I melted the
I
wing.
sure do.
But I did. Yep, melted the wing, and of course, I couldn't hide it after that. He was pretty upset that I had disobeyed him and flew the airplane without, taking it without his permission. But then he explained to me about different types of glues. So I got a lesson in glues after that.
Yeah, you wouldn't do it
Not to
again.
mention, that fiber backing tape with the vertical strands in it. That was good for those kind of wings back in the day.
Oh yeah, glass tape. We called it glass tape is what we
Yeah.
called
Yeah,
it.
glass tape. That's right. Oh, the airplanes we've busted over the years.
Yeah, in this video, when it crashes, you actually have smoke coming out, and I mean, it's the whole thing. I mean, it's like a Hollywood quality video, but of course, it's not very accurate. But it makes it a whole lot more interesting.
Well, and what's funny
Yeah.
is the kid loses interest. The dad is the one that's all gung ho to get the thing in the air.
Yeah, but then at the end there, then it's the kid that's flying it by himself.
Yeah.
And why the dad's playing with a model train.
He moved on to other stuff.
Is
Well.
is that showing up?
Is what?
I'm trying to share a window here. Is it showing up?
Nope.
Not yet. It looks like something's trying to come. Well,
You're
Tom was
frozen on
trying
my
to show
screen.
something earlier and never succeeded. We'll try that again, Tom, if you get when John gets through. See if you can share yours.
Well,
Might be a no sharing night.
it doesn't look like it's going to. I
Yeah, it
took
doesn't.
that Vanguard and I printed it digitally as a PDF file, figuring it was a smaller file, and it's apparently still don't have the bandwidth to do it. So I just stopped the sharing on it.
Excuse me.
Okay.
Might be a no sharing night. I don't know what's up. I think Jitsi just is better some nights than others with that.
Most definitely.
Tom, if you want to try again, go for it anytime. Hey, I don't know. All of you weren't here when I was talking to Tom about the video he posted from the robotics competition the other night, but it looks good on the reruns, but it didn't come online until late yesterday because we got a copyright ding and I had to edit it, and YouTube takes all day to update the changes, and so I had to take Harple's High Star out of it, which is a shame because it's a cool song and it fit what was going on in the competition, but YouTube wouldn't let us have that. So, but it's up now if anybody wants to go back and see Tom's club kick ass in the robotics competition. And they went on Saturday to the finals and kicked even more ass. And now Tom's all hoarse.
All right.
Okay, Tom looks like he's fixing to share. All right, good for a second there. Yeah. See if anything comes up. And I got my brother shot here next to me, Mike. I gave him a preview of it a while ago. I was kind of waiting, hoping Steve would come in, but I'll go ahead and show it to you when we get a chance.
Is it just
Yeah,
showing?
we're not getting anything. I'm not getting anything.
Not coming up.
I'm not getting it.
No, all I see is a little screen share icon.
I think we'll have to give up for tonight.
Okay.
I'll hit stop share.
Well, I can. Yeah. Okay. I can hold this up. We don't have to have screen share for the old shotgun, but let me click on my picture to make it big. Okay, hopefully I've got the big screen now. But here's the old Parker Brothers, and I think it's probably made in the 1920s. I'm not sure. But
There's a serial number
it's
on it.
in really nice. Yeah,
You can find
whether
out
I can read it. Where do you think the serial number would be?
on the probably on the receiver would be my guess.
Right in front of the trigger guard.
Yeah, it could be on the front of the trigger guard. It might even be right underneath the manufacturer's stamp and where it says it's been proofed, because those old guns will always say that.
Yeah, I don't
But
know. I'll have to look for
if
that stuff and then.
you can find one, there's a website that'll tell you exactly how old it is and when it was manufactured.
Yeah. Okay, I'll look it up. It's in great shape though. The only thing that I ever did that I think was wrong is that the barrel exterior of the barrel was not in good shape when I was a teenager, and I did a home bluing kit, and it came out with a brownish color that you can see. I think it looks like it's showing up pretty good in the picture, but so I probably ripped $2,000 off of it when I reblued it, but it was a Sears rebluing kit.
Yeah, I tried one of
But
those
it's in great shape.
on a surplus 8mm Mauser when you used to be able to get them for like $60, $59. I thought, oh, I'm gonna make this rifle like brand new. I was like 19 or 20. I was just a dumb kid still. I bought a bluing kit, took that Mauser, stripped it down. Oh, it came out looking like my kids colored it with a Sharpie, man. It was awful.
This one came out looking beautiful, but I think the fact that I did it myself was probably a collector's mistake.
Yeah.
But I wanted to use the gun. I wanted to be able to take it out and tromp through the woods and shoot squirrels and crows and shit like that. And so I couldn't do that unless I did something to protect the barrel. The inside of it is got a mirror finish to it. I mean, it's beautiful. No pitting or anything anywhere on it. I don't think my grandfather ever used it. I inherited it from him.
Yeah.
And
well, if you use it, that's all
so
that matters.
Yeah, I shot skeet with it. I had a lot of fun shooting skeet. I went duck hunting with it, and I also shot skeet with duck loads, and that was probably a bad idea. That gun's probably not built to shoot high brass. I was talking about that the other night, and so
Does
I
Al shoot
I
it
don't
all?
see any signs of damage.
Does
Say
Al
what?
shoot it all? Al, your son?
No, he's got guns for personal self-defense, but he's not a gun enthusiast.
Well, it'll still make a
I
nice
think he's
heirloom,
got some
heirloom for
paintballs
him.
loaded with capsaicin. Al's got a revolver full of paintballs with capsaicin in them. I wouldn't want to get hit with that. You know what capsaicin is, don't you?
Yeah, it's pepper spray.
It's the stuff that makes hot peppers hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's got a personal sidearm. But
Well, what I was
yeah,
saying
like I
was
said, he's not a.
it'll make a nice heirloom for him regardless, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and it's been kept. I've taken really nice care of it. Made sure over the years that it stayed occasionally oiled and inspected, and so it's in good shape.
Tom, do you fly any free flight?
No, I'm not. I have not flown free flight. No.
Oh, because I talked to somebody at one of the Minnesota contests, and he said that he flew some electric control line too. And I was just wondering if it was you. Guess not.
I have an electric control line plane, but I'm not one that's in competitions and stuff like that. I fly mostly remote control, and mostly remote control seaplanes.
Oh,
I live on a lake in Minnesota,
okay.
about hour west of Minneapolis.
All right. I bought one of those Ranger 1220s this winter with pontoons. And I've been flying, off the snow with the pontoons, but I'm going to fly it off the lake here come summer.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not feeling the best. I think I'm going to sign off for tonight. But it was nice seeing you guys again.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom. Take it easy. Take care of yourself.
Take
All
care.
right. Thank you. Bye.
Take it easy.
It was.
So, John, go ahead.
Oh, it was really windy where I live this weekend, so I got out my stunt kite and was flying that some. Hadn't done that in a while.
That's what a lot of people have decided, that it was really windy the last couple of days. Seems to be everywhere. John, you still there? I think John's he's been cut, or
I'm
he's
just
like
getting
he's not.
myself a snack.
Oh, okay. No problem. So what are you working on gluing there, Mike?
Oh, I was want to stamp the little $10 free flight foamy from the grocery.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Go through them. We go through a lot of them. They're
Oh,
like
yeah, for sure.
a hobby shop, And
Yeah.
he throws them around. They break. I glue them, and then when we can't glue them anymore, I get him another one.
That's right. They're cheap enough. They're cheap entertainment.
They are. He'll go out. He'll go throw this thing around till it breaks. He'll stand out in the front yard for an hour. If it doesn't
Good
break,
build strength in his arms and everything else. It helps him with learning how to trim and everything else. That's what I did too as a kid.
oh yeah, he trims them. He adds nose weight to them. He bends the elevators, twists the wing.
Hey, that's fantastic. Just think how much he'll know when he's 15 or 16 if he stays with it. He'll know how to trim anything.
I'm
That's
gonna build
good.
a couple of these for the gnats.
Oh, I know what that is.
So the Thermic 20, this was like the best free flight hand launch glider when I was a kid. I had several of these, and the 20 was the best out of all the super flights.
You sent me the plan for it.
Okay, yeah, because was that for a 20 or for the 18?
No, I think it was a 20.
It was a 20. Okay. So I managed to score. I bought one off a guy that's laser producing it. I think we talked about this before. He's laser producing it on Etsy. I found him on Etsy, and they were like $20 a piece. So I bought one, but the airfoils aren't shaped on it. It's just 1/4-inch balsa that you got to shape yourself. The nice thing about Superflight, the actual Jetco ones,
come with an airfoiled wing.
airfoiled wing, buddy.
That's awesome.
Already done.
Cool. You just gotta dress it up a bit. That's great.
Dress it up. That's it. But I managed to find
That's nice.
3 of these on eBay, and I paid anywhere from $15 to $25 for each kit. So I have 3
That's awesome.
kits, and I'm going to build them all because they're nothing to build. You can knock them out in an evening.
Oh, easily.
I built one of those from the laser cut kit, and then I built the thermic B.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit bigger.
Right.
Yeah, and they fly all right. I don't know if they're real competitive to modern ones, but they seem easier to trim.
They're easy to trim. They're not competitive, but they do have some nice long flights on them. So you didn't have any problems shaping that wing? It's a lot of work to shape that wing, I think, in the laser cut kit.
Yeah.
You know, I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, I used a razor plane on it.
Razor plane. And the other thing I wasn't super impressed was he didn't use really hard balsa for the fuselage. It looks really, really soft.
A little punky. Yeah, punky.
Yeah.
Too soft for what it needs to be, you know.
I actually inherited one competition hand launch glider, and I still have it. It flies pretty damn good.
Have you ever heard of a poly?
A poly?
Poly.
I've never heard of it. No.
No,
I've never heard of it.
It's a competition hand launch glider. It's got polydehedral in it.
Yeah.
It's big. It's fairly big. It's bigger than the Thermic 20.
Okay.
We were at a RC swap meet. Oh Christ, it was probably 5 years ago, and this guy had a tub with 6 of them in there, all built.
Oh wow.
All trimmed out. It had carbon fiber toe where it needed it.
That's awesome.
Stuff. And I had Sam with me. Sam was like 6 years old at the time. And Sam goes, "Daddy, can we get one of those gliders?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." I said, what do you want for one?" And he says, "Well, I was hoping to sell the whole box." And I said, "Okay, what do you want for all of them?" He said, "How about $10?" I was like,
Oh.
So we got 6 polys for $10. And we got home, and at the time, the lot next to us was empty. So there was just a 1 acre lot next to our home that was clear. And I went up this thing, and I threw it, and I tell you what, man, it went up, and it just did the nicest, biggest
roll off the top.
Like 2 times, it rolled out at the top, and it was trimmed out, and it just came down in about a 8-foot circle. It would go like almost 2.5 revolutions around the lot before it landed. They were great.
That's fantastic. Yeah, don't ever do that on a day when there's good thermals. You'll never see it again.
Yeah. Sam lost one.
They just fly away. Once they get in a thermal, they just keep going.
So a guy at Paducah had some free flight hand launch models, and he was doing the catapult thing.
Yeah.
And he was teaching Sam how to do catapult. I think he was about 8 years old, so it was 3 or 4 years ago. And he wanted to lose this thing. He was like, "I don't care if we lose it. I got so many of them, and this one's old." And he finally got a flight where it got caught by the thermals and the wind, and it went out of sight.
Just goes. They're just gone.
The Paducah flying site is an RC field with 2 control line circles. It's huge. It's a big site. And this thing just flew away over the tree line. I mean, we watched it. We could see it for about
until it was out of sight.
2.5 minutes we watched it, and then it was gone.
Gone. I had a guy do that in Toronto too. Same thing. He worked at it for months trying to get one to fly away, and finally one Sunday morning there was good thermals and it was gone.
Yeah.
It just kept going. It got higher and it just kept getting further and further away. It was out of there.
What do you got there?
Yeah, so that's my Thermic 20. And you can see there's a lot of carbon on the boom after it's broke it. So I kept putting some carbon on it.
Did you build it with the carbon first, or you put it on after it started?
I put it on after it broke.
Okay. I think I'm going to substitute some heavier hardwood in there. Harder wood. Because, if you don't have it trimmed out right on that first big toss, man, and it just rolls over and donks in, that's where it snaps right behind the wing, you know?
Yeah. It breaks right in half. Yeah.
So I got a Jetco kit here, a Lark, and I bought it from somebody, and I'm going to put a Cox 010 in it.
010?
Yeah.
Yeah, 010. Cool.
And I'm going to put rudder only RC in it because I don't want to lose this motor.
Yeah.
But I finally bought one of these. I remember as a kid, seeing them in the hobby shop, and it looked like so much money at the time and that. But golly,
ain't nothing compared to today.
Yeah, I know. But I never had one as a kid, and so I bought one off of eBay or from somebody I knew. I think I bought one from.
I've got a brand new one of those right in the box still.
The Lark.
Are they
No, an
going, are they
010.
going for about $400 or $500 now? Are they that much?
No,
No.
no.
No, they're not that much.
Picked this up too from a local Facebook guy. It's the Superflight. Which one is this? The Thermic Dart.
Yeah.
The dart. Yeah, I thought it was a dart.
But he threw this in too, just for freebies. The Stringless Wonder.
Oh yeah, they fly out
Oh,
good.
cool.
Yeah, so I got both of these for like, I don't know, $22. Wasn't bad.
Geez, Mike, you're almost got your own hobby shop.
Yeah.
On the back of the Jetco, you got all the models that they made.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah. I always wanted the JetX stuff, but my dad would never let us have it because he's like, it's garbage. It's too hard to work with. They don't work, and it's all garbage. Did anybody ever play with JetX?
I had one of
I
those
remember it. I
50.
never had any.
You had a 50?
Yeah, and my dad got it going finally, and I put it on some kind of model, and I didn't apparently glue the motor mount on good enough because the motor mount ripped off and the motor was flying around in the grass.
Oh, gosh.
Doing the chicken dance.
So, yeah, I've had all of these. I've had the Thermic B. I've had the 20. The Dart I built. The Trio, I built that when I was a kid. Those were pretty neat. They're small, but it was 3 models in one. So that was good. And then the 18, I actually just built an 18 about 2 years ago. I found an 18 kit on eBay, and it doesn't fly as good as a 20. It's considerably smaller. I think Sam tore that one up. It had so many hits to the ground, it finally broke.
Now the plans for this Lark, it says it was designed by a Paul E. Delgado, who worked at Jetco, and he was
he's pretty famous designer.
It said something about, I looked him up, that he was big into the JetX.
Okay. And I'm looking at this Thermic Dart. It says it's designed by Frank Ealing. And if you guys know that name, Frank Ealing is the guy who designed the Delta Dart.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Ealing, Ehling. His name was on the Delta Darts I built as a kid.
If I'm not wrong, the easy something. It's a old time legal stunt ship. The plans came. It had the outlines, but it had a chart in there. You could build it in 4 or 5 different engine sizes just by following the dimension. I think that was his design as well.
Frank Ealing. And
Yeah.
John,
Wow.
you just said something that made me remember where I got that silk span from. Remember we were talking about, I bought all that silk span from a rubber powered company. Easy Built Models is the company I bought the silk span from.
Really?
You said easy, and I was like, that's it, right? Easy Built.
Boom.
They're
That's
on
awesome.
Easy Built Models on eBay. That's who I bought that light silk span from. So there you go.
As we talked about just all around silkspan here for a second, I told you about Walt Pyron's Stuka stunt, the old time legal one.
Mm-hmm.
And he used lightweight, but he double covered it, and it was gorgeous. All of the lines were softened because of the double covering, on the wings. It was really gorgeous. So don't be afraid of doing it. You double cover it, it comes out about the same as the midweight, but it looks a whole lot better.
Okay. Well, maybe
If any of you guys, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, maybe the Ringmaster that I covered with that, instead of stripping it, I'll just clean it up real good and throw another layer of that same silk span right over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you get the oil off of it,
Yeah.
Have any of you guys tried that Dr. paper?
I've looked at it. I'm not
I've
sure
got
I like
some.
it.
Okay.
It's not
What's
the
that?
That's
same
what I'm
thing.
going to use on the ice viper.
Okay.
It's not the same thing as silk span.
Well, there's many different kinds of it, so I don't know. Like, I've got a roll of it, but I don't know if it's the good kind or not. I have no idea. I'm gonna try it, but I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it's worth a
Stunt
try.
Hanger-
Sorry, Rusty, I didn't catch
The
that.
Stunt Hanger hobby store sells it. The Stunt Hanger well, the right. It came from Tom Morris's inventory.
Yeah, I got it from a local doctor's office here, so I have no idea whether this stuff's going to work or not.
I've
Yeah,
gotten
that's what I got too. I've got it right off the tables, and it seems heavier than the silk span that I've encountered. But I'm going to use it on the Hyper Viper
Okay.
and see how that works on the wing, and I might use it on the Cardinal if I like it
That's right.
on the Cardinal wing.
Cool.
Has anybody built one of these?
Oh yeah, those fly good.
Yeah, I built probably 2 when I was a kid, and I saw this at Hobby Lobby had these, and I had a 40% off coupon, so I paid like $10 for it with a 40%.
That must have been a good Hobby Lobby. Every one I ever went to, they didn't have anything. That's cool.
Our Hobby Lobby sells all the Gillos kits. They have them all.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
I went to the one in Muncie when we went to the US Nats. This was years ago. They had nothing. It was nothing but a junk store.
Oh no, our Hobby Lobbies here in Tennessee. I mean, they have
hobby stuff. Wow, that's cool.
They've got CA. They've got epoxy.
Oh, that's awesome.
They have a K&S rack.
That's great.
Brass
Awesome.
tubing, piano wire. They got a balsa rack, which it's hit and miss on that.
Hit and miss, but that's good. That's
is
awesome.
Supply there, but they sell all the Gillos kits. They sell all the smaller ones. I've even seen the Mustang there, the bigger Mustang and P38.
Wow, that's cool. That's awesome.
They're $40 or $50, but you can get a Hobby Lobby 40% off coupon every day.
Yeah, exactly.
One to your phone.
Cool.
So you can get one.
That's awesome.
It's and Gillos is laser cutting their stuff now too. It's not die cut anymore.
Oh, nice. Cool.
Back to those gliders. There were Jasco Thermics and there was Jetco Thermics.
Mm-hmm.
The Jasco was the Frank Zayak, and then I think they got redesigned as Jetco, and there was some changes in the designs on the thermic gliders between the earlier ones and the later ones.
I like the Jetco gliders, man. I've had all of them since I built, each one several times when I was a kid. It seemed like every time we went to the hobby shop, I was walking out with at least one hand launch glider or a small rubber kit or something like that. Dad was good about that stuff. He didn't mind buying me airplane stuff, Yeah.
What do you got there, John?
It's easy built models. Yeah. Which one is it?
Yeah, that's something for Mikey to look at.
Which one?
What is it? Which
one? Jimmy Allen Special.
Okay.
Oh.
You've heard of the Jimmy Allen meets, haven't you?
I have.
Well, this is one of the designs for it. This is the what do they call it? Let's see, Enverger or something or other. Yeah, you got a propeller blank you can carve in there.
Oh, that sounds like something I don't want to do.
Me neither.
Yeah. They have a postal contest with these. Let's see, get it up there. There's
Yep.
And I'll just scan it by here for you.
I'll be right back.
And you take your flight, and then you post it, and you send in your times and that, and they do it all over the country. People join into it, and then they post it where there's the blank, buddy.
Oh my
God! That's your new propeller.
Nice. Yeah, you can have that. you know that part.
Now that's when you're a real modeler. You can carve your own propeller.
Is that balsa?
Yeah,
basewood.
Balsa.
We had a guy in our club. He's passed away, but He could sit down on one of these blanks, and in an hour he'd have a perfect propeller.
If I'm going to
Just-
carve propellers, I want to carve rev ups. I'm not carving those. I want to carve. I want to carve something I can make some money on. I'm not carving those.
I bet you get lost in thought when you find something shiny alongside the road there, Lynn. Anyway, he said easy built model, and I remembered I had this sitting on the table in the other room, so I thought I'd bring it out for him.
There's a lot of models out there, they say, that are easy built. Baloney. They're not always so easy.
For sure. I got a couple more as long as we're showing old free flight stuff. At the Sig Cub.
Nice. Yep.
Picked that up at a swap meet for $5.
Can't beat that.
Here's another one, Mike.
Oh God, you guys have all got them.
This is a Heinkel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some of these I got it at the swap meet, and some of them, all the sticks are missing, but some of the balsa is still there. And the plans are, of course, in there, and that's really all you need. Except you need the propeller blade. Now, you'd like this one, Mike, because,
Plastic propeller?
yeah, here's the propeller.
Oh, yeah, that's my speed right there.
That's my league. I like that idea too.
And then
well, no, guess everything is in this
cool.
one.
Nice one, Mike.
This
the
is
Sig
the
Tiger.
Big Tiger. This is a little bit bigger.
That's cool.
Oh yeah,
a little bit bigger one. This was another $5 swap meet, RC swap meet deal. I always write the prices on stuff when I buy them at swap meets. I write them what I paid for them.
You should get your SV11 done in about 5 years.
I'm going to show you one more, and just because the quality of this kit is outstanding.
Wow.
Now, this was a friend of mine found this. She was somewhere in some tourist place, some antique tourist place, and brought it home for Sam. So it's the Vintage Model Company, and this is a laser cut ME109. And this kit, she just gave us this like a year ago. I didn't know that this company existed, but let me just show you this laser cutting on this.
Wow.
Look at
that. None of that.
That is phenomenal.
I mean, it's just, and it's actually pretty decent balsa.
No kidding.
Balsa. So I think this should go together fairly well. A lot better than the die cut stuff that we used to have to deal with.
I'm afraid when that SV11 gets done, it's going to be rubber powered.
Well, no, if you guys are doing rubber stuff, you want to look this company up, because I looked them up, and they do have other models besides the ME109. And
that's cool.
I mean, just the quality of the kit is phenomenal. So if you're a rubber guy, I mean, there's no point building that old die cut stuff anymore unless you just like beating yourself up. You know?
So that label says BF 109. Is there a difference between an ME and a BF? Is one a civilian or something?
No, the proper terminology for the ME 109 is a BF 109. That's the proper name of it.
Yeah, I agree.
So what you got there, Bill?
There's that Flyboy, Mike had the kit of. Here's mine. And I got it out and flew it last summer, and I had it in a thermal, and I darn near lost it. So I put it away. You can see I got a little clay on the nose, so I think you could use a bigger propeller, and that'd give you a little more weight. But it's probably one of the better Gillos.
Cool.
Can you hold it up?
That's nice.
Higher?
What's that?
Can you hold it up a little higher? I've got all my video tiles are across the bottom of my screen. So there you go. A little higher. A little higher. Yeah, perfect. Now you're in camera all the way. So how do you apply your tissue? What are you doing for tissue?
I usually use glue stick.
Just a glue stick.
Yeah. And then I use that clear Krylon when I'm, want to do it really fast and dirty instead of using like nitrate and all that. But
Looks
and then
good.
here's a Lancer I built, Gillo's
Oh.
Lancer.
Yeah, I built one of those.
And I put a fused DT on it where the wing pops up. It doesn't really need it, but I wanted to play around with a fused DT.
Yep, Lancer, Javelin. I built both of those. I built the Cessna 180. Couple of the Cloudbusters.
But here's something that's kind of fun. This is a SIG Cub, and I put this electric motor on it, and these timers, you can buy those for like $8, the electric timer, but it only does 5, 8, or 10 seconds. So you don't get with that little prop, you only can use a certain size electric motor, but it's just perfect for a schoolyard flying, and you can get probably about, a dozen flights on a battery, and, you fly it, all you do is push a button and away it goes.
Yeah, I got one right here.
Oh.
What'd you cover the wing with?
I use Mylar, and then I put tissue on the bottom.
Okay. Cool. Did you ever build any Comet kits? Any Comet rubber stuff?
I built my first model airplane ever was a Comet Cub, rubber powered.
Yeah.
That was the first model airplane, balsa wood model airplane I ever built. I had to have some help though from a guy up the street who knew how to do it. Thank goodness he did, because I never would have got through it alone.
Wow, my first one was a Comet bird dog.
Okay.
The bird dog.
How old were you?
7 or 8.
Good for you.
I didn't know anything about sandpaper, so I didn't sand it at all, but I did cover it. And I did actually fly it. And like most little kids, I think on about 11 or so, I decided we'd put some firecrackers inside of it and light its tail on fire and let it go and watch it explode in the air, except it landed on the ground and then exploded.
Does anybody remember the Comet Cloudbuster? Because
yeah,
I think the Cloudbuster and the Gillows Flyboy are the same airplane.
Yeah, they switched the names around between the Flyboy and the Cloudbuster.
Correct, because the Flyboy was a high wing thing like the SIG Cub, right?
Yeah.
That's what the Flyboy was.
Yeah, they switched the names, but I don't know why, but they did, and a lot of people don't like that.
Well, but my Flyboy, which I think looks like a Cloudbuster, that's a Gillows kit. But I remember getting Cloudbusters from Comet. That's what I'm saying. I thought Comet made the Cloudbuster.
Yeah.
And now Gillows is selling it under the name Flyboy.
Hey, Charles, I thought you'd be on your way to VSC.
I'm at Bart Kaplinsky's house.
Oh,
say hi to Bart for me.
I will. And you can see just some of the planes behind me. I don't know if you can see them. It's making me big on the screen. Maybe you can see some more.
I can see some stuff hanging up there.
Are you in the shop?
No, I'm in just one of the rooms. But there's planes all over. There's planes all over. The shop is back behind me in another room. And he designed the Tempest. And so there's a lot of Tempest in here. And there's a lot of there's a what's this? Too Much. You might like that, John. The Too Much.
I know that airplane.
It's a huge twin.
Yeah.
To the right of me.
Yeah.
And a lot of planes that are not built, some are finished. I wish I had my camera. I would pan the room. You'd see a lot of planes. And this is upstairs, and there's planes downstairs, and planes to the left, to the right.
Wow.
You haven't been over to Bert Brokaw's house yet, have you?
No, I haven't, but I spoke to him today, and we had a very interesting discussion about handles. You know, matter of fact, I can't wait to get back to California to try out some of the things he told me. Because I've been been predisposed against a, you know, those handles that Tom Morris makes where it's at an angle
Yeah.
Biased,
The
yes.
bias
instead
handle.
of a vertical handle. So I've never tried the handles that are at an angle because I've seen comments, you know, that's saying that just use a straight handle, don't use the other one. So I never tried it. But we was talking, and I was telling him how almost every single plane that I have flown turns quicker on outsides. I mean, it's just like it's like all the time. And he said, "Well, you probably need to try a different handle. What kind of handle are you trying?" I go, well, he said, "Vertical or at an angle?" I go, "Mine are vertical." He goes, "Try the one at an angle. You might find that problem might go away." And so I'm kind of anxious to see if that will be a simpler solution than what I was going to do.
Well, yeah. Well, it never hurts to try. I used to fly with a biased handle, and I've switched over to vertical. I like it better, and I've learned the trimming techniques to get it to turn about the same. But you know, try it. Hey, you know, it's only the cost of a handle. If it works
Right.
for
You
you,
know, and
it works for you.
I have an angle handle, if that's the right name, or bias. I have one or two of them actually, so it won't really cost me anything to try it. You know?
Yeah.
If anybody wants a third one, I'll mail it to you.
Bert's house. If you get an invite to go over to Bert's house, take him up on it because his whole house, he's got the one end of the house, one side of the house is where he sleeps and where he has his master bedroom and a shower there. And then you go through the center of the house, which is where most everybody has their living room and all of that. That's one big shop, one big building shop. It's set
Awesome.
up. It's all shop, and on the other end of it is where the kitchen and the dining room is. And so he's got this huge. I mean, it's like 20 foot by 15 or 18-foot shop in there, and he's got you'll be impressed if you see it. Take some pictures. You'll enjoy it. Hi, Steve.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, Steve.
All right.
Yeah, I know Bert. I've seen him even in stunt news. It seems like he's all over the nation going contests, and he's the kind of flyer that does. I mean, he slowed down, but he was doing, you know, combat carrier scale, stunt. I mean, he would be doing everything, you know.
Yeah, he actually has won quite a bit in carrier in his class, and he always flew combat. I knew him when he lived up here in Salt Lake area, and I've stayed many times at his house. He's a very gracious host, and you know, he took up stunt late in life. You know, I think it was just prior to him moving down to Tucson. Maybe sooner, but he started taking it seriously when he got down to Tucson.
Yeah, matter of fact, when I was talking to Bert, he had an experimental plane. His first plane in the stunt was a Banshee with a 15 on pressure, on bladder pressure.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised.
So, Steve, I'm at a guy's house named Bart Koplinski.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know him?
It seems like I seen him one time at the Nats.
Yeah.
I know the name from Stunthangar.
Yeah, I know his name. I know his name well from Stunthangar. Yeah.
He used to fly at Disneyland, and he flew 3 planes at one time. He had 2 handles and 1 handle in his mouth.
Oh, okay.
Like Jim Walker.
Yeah.
Jim Walker did too.
Yeah. So you're in Arizona now, huh?
Yeah, I'm in Arizona, Tustin, Arizona.
Did you get any flights in yet?
Um,
Practice?
I flew twice today. I flew an Olympic, and then I also flew a green box Nobler. I'm trying to decide which one I'm going to pick to compete with.
Well, pay close attention. They both fly good.
Yeah, they both do. They're both good examples. That the Nobler, believe it or not, is I think only 37 ounces.
Is that the
Oh,
one
that's
you've got on
perfect.
the calendar?
No, unfortunately, it's not here, but it looks like a PT-19. The Nobler looks like a PT-19 the way it's colored.
Okay. Okay, so it's got yellow wings and a blue fuselage.
Yeah,
Okay,
with the
cool.
red and white stripes on the rudder.
All right.
Yeah, it's pretty cool looking. But it's in the car right now. There's a
That's okay.
we have the Olympic in here, but yeah. So I'm gonna hopefully get up early tomorrow, so we can get there early before the wind comes up. It was kind of windy today, so I really did very little maneuvers on both planes. I just kind of felt them out. And so
Okay.
tomorrow is old time stunt, starting the first round. But I saw for the first time in my life, I saw some old time ignition. I've never seen those things fly before. Jim Lee, he put up his plane about 5 times today, and it's very interesting. Have you guys ever seen those things run?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Zambelli flies
yeah.
them all the time.
Yeah, Bob Zambelli flies them for sure.
I mean, it's like at least Jim Lee's. It was sounding like it was going to die, but it just kept going, and you see the little puffs of smoke coming out of it. Pretty interesting. And then Bart has a pretty good example of a old time ignition too. A really big plane.
You got a Taurus or a?
I don't know what it is.
If you get a chance, and if you meet him, Bob Whiteley,
I
he's
know Bob Whiteley.
okay. Well, if you have him watch your flight, he can tell you things just watching your flight, things that'll help you out a lot.
Oh yeah, he actually has helped me at the Palmer in Wooded Arrows. He's helped me a little bit at Golden State. He's been very helpful over the years. I actually stayed at his house a couple years ago to go to the Southwestern Regionals. So Bob Wiley's been very, very kind to me. Yeah, and he's definitely. And you're right. He can just look at you fly and just kind of tell you even how to trim it, what's going on.
Yeah, amazing.
So that Olympic, is that your airplane, Charles, that one you had, or?
The one I flew today?
Yeah.
No, my friend here, Preston, is letting me use some planes that are built by a guy named Dave Keefe. And one of them's an Olympic and one's a green box Nobler. And it was kind of an enticement to get me to come to BSC. I'd actually get a chance to, whichever one I like, I get to take it home with me, minus the engine.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Awesome.
I think they both have OS 35S's in them.
Good engine.
Yeah, they're they look very promising. I'm kind of excited. But it's a maiden flight and a lot of wind. You don't want to do. That's not really what everybody wants to do, right?
Right. You'll probably meet Glenn Dye there. Glenn Dye is an engine man. He was a manufacturer of TRW combat and racing engines, and he knows the tricks for that OS 35S. Which rod to replace, which Super Tiger rod you can replace the one in the OS 35S. That's a weak link in the 35S. It's bushed on both ends, so it helps a lot.
Yeah, I'm actually going to try to secure one. Because I'd rather just, put what's in there now, replace it, with the same motor, or maybe maybe get away with the Brodak 40. I have a Brodak 40. That's a light motor.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's heavier or than a OS 35S or not.
Well, the thing with the OS 35S is it's a 424 engine, where the Brodak is more of a rich two-cycle. It'll still break, but they tend to run them just a little bit faster, a little flatter pitch prop. Either one will work. I like in a classic airplane. I like a classic brake.
Yeah.
I'm just an old sop that way.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. And there's a gentleman, I don't know if you know who Leroy Black is. You know Leroy Black?
Oh, I know Leroy.
Yeah, Leroy Black. I was telling him I'm looking for an OS 35S, and he told me he'll help me find one. And then even Bob Brookins is here, and I told Bob Brookins the same thing, and Bob Brookins said he'll help me find one. So I'm pretty sure I can find one.
Oh yeah, there'll be people selling them. There'll be a whole line of sunshades on the little hill there, going to the south. They're just where they can watch all the flying going on, and there'll be at least 2 or 3 guys there. They just have their whole tables full of engines. You'll find one.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, because Jim Lee's here, and I bought some stuff off of Jim Lee already, and I haven't even started. It starts Wednesday, so by Wednesday, like you said, all those vendors will be out there. And right now, there's like 4 or 5 guys selling stuff right now. It's the first year's Monday, even started till Wednesday.
Does anyone know if the OS 30 and the 35 uses the same crank?
I believe they do.
Okay, because I bought a OS 30 for $12. It's 100% brand new, but someone took the crank out of it, and they said they put it in a crashed 30. I bet they had someone crashed a 35 and bent the crank. So that thing's, brand spanking new, except it needs a crank. And I got an old OS 35
crank. It'll work. I'm pretty sure.
It'll work. Thing is if you on that 35S, you wanna try to change that conrod, connecting rod, because that's the Achilles heel of that engine. It's not bushed on either end, and it'll oblong out the hole and start acting funny. And and I can't tell you which one it is, but there's a Super Tiger conrod, connecting rod, that will fit right in
without having to do any machine or anything.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
If you see Glenn Dye, ask him about it. He's the one that did it for my engines. I let him take my engines, and he did a little magic on it, and it just runs sweet.
I got a pencil and pad. What's that name again?
Glenn Dye, D-Y-E.
All right.
Bart knows him real well, and so does Bert. So.
Okay.
Is there any way to bush the rod for the OS?
I suppose if you got the equipment, you might be able to do that.
Because I was wondering about Jim Lee, if he could bush it.
You might ask him. Yeah.
Jim Lee's there. You could ask him if he can bush a rod.
That's a good idea. I've done a lot of business with Jim, so I'm sure that wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, you're going to meet a lot of really neat guys there, Charles. A lot of neat guys.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it because it's an iconic event. It's big. I mean, at one time they used to have like 80 pilots in Classic.
Yep.
Show up.
Wow.
So it can be pretty big. In its heyday,
it would take. They'd start flying at 8 o'clock in the morning. They wouldn't end till 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon when it was that big.
Hey, Mike. You talked to Dick lately?
If not, no.
I talked to him today. Next week he goes in for a PET scan because they were going to do radiation, but they can't find the tumor with a regular CT scan. So the guy said we can't find anything to radiate, so they're going to do for a PET scan. And he said, then we'll know, for sure. But sounds like he's doing real good.
Yeah, it does sound good.
If they can't find a tumor, that's great.
Yeah. So far they can't find a tumor, but he said that a PET scan will, I guess they're going to do his whole body, find out if there's any places they got to look at or whatever. But yeah, that was a good deal that he's done with chemo right now and he's feeling a lot better. He said food is starting to taste like food again.
Yeah, I want to see
awesome.
him around this summer. I want to see him at all the contests,
Yeah.
So I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, that's great.
I told him maybe we can get up and go flying.
I found the serial number. Sorry to change the subject. I found the patent number on the shotgun is March 26, 1878. And the serial number is 154860.
What shotgun is that, Rusty?
That's the Parker.
Oh, no shit.
It's got a little badge on the handle with no markings at all scribed on it. It's got a lot of beautifully scripted scribing on it, like on the safety and the name and all that.
Shit, you
Here you go,
better.
Steve. I showed it to Mike and everybody else. Let me click on my picture. I'll go ahead and show it to you.
Yeah, your picture's froze up right now.
Ah, crap. Sure is. Okay, well, let me turn my camera off. That'll fix it.
Hey, Carter, please please say hi from me to Barton, to Bert,
Okay, will do. I'll
and
definitely
Glenn.
do that.
And Glenn, if you meet him, okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I talked to him at length today, and we've met about 3 or 4 times, so I'm very familiar with him. Very approachable guy. Very, very nice gentleman. I have
Yeah, he is.
I'm one of 2 guests, and my friend who invited me. I'm going to get back to visiting with him, so I'm going to bounce. So I'll see you guys next.
Here you go, Steve. Do y'all have me here?
Good luck, Charles.
All right, thanks, you guys.
See you, Charles.
Oh yeah. 2 triggers. I'll tell you what, Rusty, you better have that appraised.
Yeah, it's valuable. It's not as valuable as it would have been if you hadn't done the barrels, but it's still valuable.
Yeah. At least I did a great job on the barrels. They're pretty, but I know that to a collector doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
Like I said, it's really in good shape.
Parker is made in England, isn't it?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. English shotguns are worth a lot of money.
Yeah, this is a beautiful gun. I used to think it was really lightweight, but when I picked it up today, I was like, damn, that thing's heavier than I remembered. So I'm not as strong as I used to be. It's a 20 gauge. Can't be that heavy to kick. I mean, it kicks like a horse. That's because it's so light, I suppose.
Yeah, it's because the barrels aren't backboard or anything else like the new guns, but they have to be that thick to take the punishment of shooting it. But
yeah, They're like mirror glass finish on the inside, but there's
Well, I
no
gotta go turn
pitting
it
or
off right now.
scratching or anything.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'd find out what it's worth. I mean, my brother, I forget the name of the one that he has, an English shotgun. He paid like $7,000-8,000 for it, and he always wanted a Parker, but he could
Holy
never
crap.
afford what he wanted. Well, he could, but he wasn't going to
I
spend
was
that
figuring
kind of money for it.
1,500. I was figuring 1,500 or something like that, but yeah, at work they used to offer me 1,500 for it all the time. But it might be worth a lot more than that, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. It depends on, when they grade it and all that kind of stuff and how rare it is and different things like that.
Mm-hmm. I probably devalued it by rebluing it myself. But it had to be done because I wanted to use it outside, in the cold, drizzly rain and stuff, shooting squirrels and crows. And so I fixed it up so it was fit for field work.
Yeah.
And had a good time with it.
Yeah, the most expensive Parkers I ever seen, the guy wanted $480,000 for the pair. But he said he wanted to buy
What
a new
made them so special?
What's that?
What made them so special? Do you have any idea?
They were a 6 gauge and an 8 gauge.
Oh,
Ooh, that's a big gun.
The 6 gauge
those were market guns.
The 6 gauge shot a damn shell that I couldn't hold in my fingers. The thing was huge, and it was all brass. And I forget what he said. It came with a box of shells right from Parker. What the damn shells cost? So many thousands of dollars for the shells, because they're
what the hell would you need a gun like that for? I wonder.
Huh?
Those were market guns for commercial hunting.
Yeah, the 6 gauge had a thing on it where you put it on a pivot in the boat, and then I guess the 8 gauge you could actually shoot offhand, but I wouldn't want to shoot it because even them shells were massive.
I guess if you were moose hunting or something like that, maybe, or polar bear hunting, grizzly bear hunting.
No,
yeah,
you wouldn't want to piss a grizzly bear off. You wouldn't want to piss a grizzly off with a 12 gauge.
Those are the kind of guns that they mounted in a boat and they'd go out and they'd hunt ducks and geese, passenger pigeons, and things like that. They were market hunters. They hunted for the market. In those days, they would use those guns and take animals, and they'd wind up in somebody's butcher shop.
Yeah, they said that with that 6 gauge on the boat, they snuck up on birds early in the morning when they're all floating in the water, and just shoot them right on the water when that was legal. And they said that they could get 100 at a time or whatever with them big ass guns.
Yeah. I guess it sprays such a huge pattern that you could kill a whole flock of ducks. Jeez.
Yeah. Yeah, there's certain ones, I mean, like ones that are all engraved and stuff like that. I seen
Presentation.
There was a guy named Len Westdale, and he owned Westdale Homes. It was a realtor here. And I was in his house doing heating and air conditioning. And he had a game room that was shit. I'd have to say that room was probably 600-700 square feet. And all 4 walls were lined with guns. There were gun racks built on there and just stacked up. from Parker side-by-side rifles and anything you could think of that were all engraved with gold. And I don't know how many $1 million worth of guns he had in that damn place.
I always wanted a nice rifle, but I've never owned one other than my air rifles. I regret never having owned shot a nice rifle.
Yeah, it depends on what you
Okay, I can do that.
hunt. I've never been
the whole thing for a minute.
I've never been much on rifles. I've always been shotguns. I've had a few and, never used the rifle. But
If you're a deer hunter, you probably want to hunt with a rifle, don't you?
yeah. But it was where I live, and still to this day, you can't hunt deer with a rifle here. You gotta go
really?
about another 30, 40 miles north before you can hunt with a rifle. The southern part of the state is shotgun only.
Here where I live, you wouldn't even think about taking a shotgun out deer hunting.
No.
We got wide open spaces, I mean, I've never had to shoot further than 20 yards at any animal that I've ever taken because I'm sneaky. But the possibility exists there, and I know people that do it. 600-yard shots are not uncommon for some of these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, a friend of mine went hunting in, I don't know, it was Colorado or Montana or whatever. And he shot from one ridge to another and got the deer. And so it took him a day and a half to get it out.
Yep. Yep. That's why you don't shoot across from one ridge to another.
But
Yeah, the guys that hunt those mountain goats have to do a lot of hiking and working to get those out of there.
I'll tell you, Steve, though, the rules are screwy in Michigan with that shotgun zone and rifle zone. So basically what they have going on, if this is Michigan, there's a line across the state. And in the southern half, shotgun, muzzleloader, black powder, pistol hunting, okay. Anything above the line, you can use anything you want, rifle and all the others. But a modern day muzzleloader with a Magnum barrel with 150 grains of black powder and a sabot is accurate out to 150 yards.
Yeah.
175 if you really want to reach out and touch one. But the reason they have that shotgun only line in Michigan is because of the populous areas. They don't want high powered rifles. That's where all the big cities are out there.
Yeah.
And they don't want high powered rifles zinging all over. But even, a shotgun with a rifled slug barrel and a 3-inch Magnum, you can still reach out at 150 yards with one of those.
Oh, yeah, I know it.
No problem. No problem.
It's like all my friends and stuff like that that I knew when I was a kid growing up. It was always that they would do a slug and then buck and then back to a slug.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of deer hanging in our neighborhood. But my grandfather, he got all of his deer with a 22.
Can't do that anymore.
That's going to have to be a headshot, I guess.
I don't know.
Right,
He had a lot of deer, and back when he hunted in the 20s and 30s, 40s, whatever, somewhere in the 50s, I think they ended that. But he said, hell, that's the only thing they could afford for ammunition. A rifle that they could, especially during the Depression and stuff like that. They had their 22 and they went squirrel hunting and varmint hunting or whatever, rabbit hunting, up to deer hunting, By that time, there was no moose or elk around here, but yeah, that was my grandpa's only rifle. And he had his 410 shotgun. that carried him through everything. But yeah, I don't know if they shot him in the head or where they shot him.
What's a 4480? Can you tell me what a 4480 is?
That's a damn old black powder round, I think.
I was thinking a 410 shotgun would fit a 4480 load.
No, so a 410, because I owned a rifle that shot this. I had a Circuit Judge carbine. It'll shoot a 410 or a 45 long Colt, if that's what you're thinking of. 410 and a 45 long Colt can be shot in the Circuit Judge. So can the 454 Casal. But I've never heard of what you were talking about.
I've heard of them rounds, and usually they were in a lever action Colt or whatever. But back then, it was all black powder when them shells first came out. Or
you're saying it was a black powder cartridge?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the 44, I think, is the caliber. And the 80 is like 80 grains of black powder.
Okay.
That's how they did them old Colt rounds like that.
Well, common round for Colts and their lever action rifles was 4440. That was a very common round.
Yeah, 4440.
Yeah, I had a it's like a rolling block single shot, came out of Australia. That was rechambered in that and shot 3220. That thing was so gutless you could shoot it and watch the bullet fly away.
I loaded 45 ACP real light once with some lead round nose, and I could see my bullets going down range on an indoor range.
Mm-hmm.
They probably weren't even going 800 feet per second. My BB gun was faster, but I could see my 45 ACP bullets going down range. I wanted to see how slow I could make them.
Well, that single shot I had was a martini action. That's what I was trying to say. And I found out it was a trade rifle in Australia that they sold to the Aborigines. They didn't want them to have anything much more powerful than that, so that they couldn't uprise, I guess, or whatever. But it was a 32 something or other, but it was a smaller chamber, a smaller cartridge than the 3220. It had to be pretty gutless.
Yeah, I know that there was a lot of different ones out back in the day when they were experimenting with them guns. But once they came over to, they got rid of black powder, the smokeless, so that changed everything.
That it did.
But yeah, here, I don't know. If I was ever going to get another rifle again, it probably would be 30-06 or 30-30 for deer hunting. But
I like a 30-30, always have. But if I was to get another, I've got several rifles that did. If I ever get another one, and if it's going to be a lever action, I'd probably go for the 45-70.
Yeah.
You like paying $2 a round, do you?
There's reloading.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah.
Well, it's like I was at Myers, I don't know, was it last year or something like that? And they had 30-30 and they had 30-06 for a box of shells for like $12 a piece. And then if you
I would have bought all they had. I would have bought every one of them at that price.
Mm-hmm.
Then they had like the 7.62 or whatever, the different ones there. Them damn things are like 40 some bucks a box. And I'm like, why in the hell would you pay that when you could just shoot a 30-06?
Problem with 30-06, it's a great rifle, don't get me wrong. And I love it. I've used it. Probably even still, there's probably more game taken in North America with a 30-30 than any other cartridge. But because of the tubular magazine, you have to have a flat nose or a round nose bullet, because if you put a Spitzer or a pointed bullet in there, when you shoot it, the recoil will hit the primer and the whole darn magazine will go off.
Yeah.
And so the bullet shape itself is not conducive to long range accuracy. Savage went ahead and they set one up, their lever gun set up with a rotary magazine. And that's a good alternative if you like a saddle gun, a lever gun. But that's the only one that you can use a pointed bullet in.
Mm-hmm. That's John. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I've got a Model 99. I've got my grandpa's, and then it was my dad's 99. And yeah, the rotary mag, and I love the little window in the side with the counter on it is great. And just off the top of my head, I can't remember if it holds 5 or 6. I think it's 5 and then 1 in the pipe.
Yeah.
In 5 in the rotary. But there's a little window in the side of the receiver. And then
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Actually, there's a 0 in there too.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a 0 to tell you that the gun is empty. So it's a rifle. Instead of having a box magazine, it has a rotary magazine. Every time you put a shell in, it rotates. It's kind of like a Ruger 1022 mag. But what they did was they incorporated this little brass numbering system that's on the rotary mag. So when there's a shell in it, it tells you exactly how many bullets are in the weapon.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I'd get it out and show you, but it's buried. It's put up and in a sock and too hard to get to. It's all the way in the back of the safe. But that's one that when I get coupons or there's sales at Bass Pro, and Bass Pro is about the only place I can buy ammo for that, where I can walk into a store and buy ammo. Academy doesn't sell it, Walmart doesn't sell it, but Bass Pro here does. But it's it's $35 a box for 20 rounds. It's over $1 every time you pull the trigger. So I don't shoot that one a lot.
Well, that's why I was like 30-06, and I had a Remington carbine, semi-automatic 30-06. That was such a nice gun, especially for Michigan. Where we hunted here, it ain't nothing but woods, and something was a little lighter, easier to swing and move around there, and the woods we got here, but out west.
The 9mm versus the 40. All my buddies are sold on 40s, and I'm like, you just must like paying 2.5 times as much for ammo as I do, because that's all they're doing. Now I know the 40's got a little more stopping power, but a 40's not a range gun, man.
Yeah.
You get a box of 9s for $9, $8 or $9, and they're paying $22, $23 a box for the same manufacturing ammo, but they got to have that 40 Smith & Wesson. And I'm like, all right, I'll shoot twice as much for what you're paying. I don't get it. I just don't understand it. How one bullet can be twice as much as another one when they're so similar in size and manufacture. I don't understand that.
Because they can get it.
I can't understand shooting a Cassol. It just so much wear and tear on your arm and your hand and your wrist. And, they're not fun to shoot after 2 or 3 shots.
Right.
And it costs a whole lot each shot.
They are. And John, I've wanted a 500 since they came out, and I've almost bought one a couple of times, but my good sense has taken over and I've passed on it. But my cousin did buy one, and I got an opportunity to shoot it last summer. And I don't need one. I got my hands on one. I shot it a couple times. I don't need to have one. So I'm glad I never did, because I was real close a couple of times to buying one, and I'm just glad I didn't. It's if you can't afford to feed them, it's no fun to have them too. You can't put ammo in them. It's just not worth it to me.
That's just a guy I worked with. A bunch of us, we shot 22 and stuff like that. And he got his daughter shooting 22. And she started winning all these indoor contests and stuff like that. She got a 4-year scholarship to North Dakota State. I didn't even know they had a shooting program there.
Hey, what do you think I'm grooming my kids for, man? Why do you think you see all them pictures on Facebook where we're at the range 2 and 3 times a month? Because when they get into middle school, they've got a trap shooting program here in Tennessee. There's also a pellet gun program, an Olympic pellet gun program. So there's several shooting sports that are encouraged, I'll say, in the school system here. So, I don't know if they're going to take advantage of it or not, but by God, they know how to shoot. So if they say, hey, I want to try out for this team when they get to school, why not? A little more college money or whatever. Plus just the fact of them firearms,
Well, they said that one of the best, it was rated the best, and it's up and down for sports scholarships, is fencing.
Really?
Yep. It's like, damn, I wish I would have known back in the day, because I used to fence that, but yeah, they said that all these schools, like Columbia and Harvard and Yale and this and that, all the big Eastern schools are huge on fencing because they put a lot of their kids into the Olympics and stuff. That's still an Olympic sport. And they said that there's some huge scholarships out there for fencing. That in girls lacrosse. I was at a place working and a girls lacrosse team was there. And was talking to them, and all these girls with scholarships. And they said, we could have took 3 more kids, 3 more girls on the lacrosse team. And they were out of Ohio someplace. And I think it was Ohio, not Ohio State, but the University of Ohio. And I'm not sure where that's at, but yeah, they said that they had 3 more openings for full scholarships for lacrosse and couldn't fill them.
You always think of sports scholarships. You think of football and basketball and baseball.
Yeah.
And who would know? All these other. I know they have scholarships for what do they call them? Shell racing. Where they're 6 or 7 guys in a rowboat. With the captain going stroke. That kind of thing.
That's a skull.
They got full ride scholarships for that.
That's a skull racing. Yeah.
Yeah. We have that here. I think it's Kelvin, the old Christian college deal that still does that. And we'll see him racing on Grand River all the time. Well, I used to when I was coming home from work, coming up this way. But yeah, they got right along the expressway there, they got a big building. You see these kids carrying out them damn boats and singles and doubles, triples, and a whole bunch of them, and going, doing down the river. And I guess, yeah, a lot of them get scholarships to Ivy League schools and stuff that still does that.
Yeah, that's called crew. That's rowing crew is what that's called.
Rowing crew.
Talking about the shooting sports, Tennessee has a pretty good program for shooting sports. In addition to the pellet guns and the skeet and trap shooting, they have a really good archery program here too. That's in our school system, so we'd be able to taking advantage of that later on.
Uh,
Because
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised to hear that, Mike, coming from Tennessee, Daniel Boone's old hometown. You know.
oh yeah, yeah. And Sam hasn't expressed an interest in that yet, but my wife and daughter did. And last summer, we're not quite a year into it, but I got both of them bows last year and started teaching them to shoot. So my wife just wanted something to do, but Emma, she wanted to learn to shoot a bow and arrow and target shoot. So I got her the youth bow set up, and I mean, not a toy either. This is a real compound bow, you know. But again, if she expressed interest in it, I'll encourage it, and I'll help her if she wants to do it. You know, I'm
Yeah.
not spending any real money on the fancy stuff that they use unless I know she's gonna go through with it.
I know one girl who went, I think it was Iowa, for shooting trap. But here, only a couple miles from my house where I shoot, kids shoot for free. They have a program there for kids come out and they get to shoot for free, and they try to get them on the state team, and then for them to make the national team and stuff like that for trap.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so we have a lot of kids. We have a lot of kids here that shoot trap. But
yeah, my kids haven't started shooting clay pigeons yet. I mean, they're just 9 and 11, and I've tried to get them going on the 20 gauge, but neither one of them wants anything to do with that yet. They're all about shooting their rifles and their pistols, but they haven't made the jump to wanting to shoot clays. And I know as soon as they get out there and bust a couple of them, they'll be hooked on it, you know?
Yeah, the coach I had, he wasn't real keen on having kids shoot trap until at least 16. His own daughter, and he's fucking multinational champion. He didn't let her shoot till she was 18 because of all the shoulder problems and stuff. He said, especially girls taking a 12 gauge, you know, because a lot of days I went out there, I'd shoot 300 just for the, you know, I have to shoot. And then you have some, you know, if you want any practice, you might add another 50 on that or more. So it beat me up. I mean, that's one reason why my shotgun costs so much, is because I can go shoot it for a week and shoot 1,600 rounds. My old shotgun, hell, by the time I'd shot 600-700, I was pretty much done for the week.
Yeah.
Because it will beat you to death.
Yeah, they will if you don't have the right one. I mean, and my wife is little. She's tiny. She's not real tall, but she's wielding a Benelli Super Black Eagle. I mean, that's what she's running. But we don't shoot 500 or 600. When we go, you know, she'll shoot probably 150, something like that. But she can handle that Benelli all day long, no problem.
The biggest thing is with a woman is that when I had my girlfriend shooting all the time, we had to go to a sports bra that only had one deal over the shoulder and no deal, because the bra strap will put blood blisters all over their shoulders. So that was one thing that they shot with, was a sports bra with only one strap.
You say you didn't wear a bra when you shot, Steve? Is that what
I didn't know.
Yeah.
But I had my girlfriend, she wouldn't go braless. Why, I don't know. You know? But I used to tell her, just if I can go braless, I mean, I would not beat the hell out of my shoulder, you know, for that, you know. It was crazy.
Hey, Rusty, were you able to get in the shop over the weekend at all?
No, I walked out there today. I've been too sick and beat up to get out to the shop pretty much all of February, and I finally went out there for the first time today, but it was mostly a run to the freezer and not to do anything useful.
Yeah. John, are you building anything?
No, still haven't got my shop set up. I was down there the other day. I got a little, this house was built in 1911. I got a little half basement underneath it, but it gets a lot of water seepage down there on the floor. So I have to keep everything way up off the floor.
Yeah.
Well, I still haven't got it all set up. I'm working on upstairs here where I'm working on, over there's going to be where the new computer desk will be. And this, I got a roll top here. It's going to go where this one is. That'll be my ham radio station. This will go over there. That'll be my wife's computer system. So I'm working on it, but the place was all full of stuff. I couldn't get in there. I had a little pathway coming in here. So I'm getting there, but I've got to get that basement done. I got a slew of planes to build. I've got probably 20 different kits that are sitting there,
Well,
like most of it.
I was just thinking it's getting to be springtime. We ought to be having quite a bit of show and tell here if everybody's been busy this winter,
Yeah. Well, I've been working on the plans for the Vanguard. I've just about got them ready to start doing all the text stuff on it and call outs and that. I've got to order. I'm going to order the electric conversion kit from Brodak, and I also want to order the order one from what is it? Air, one of theirs. See which one I want to use in there. My fuselage is like 3.5 inches wide at the widest point. I did that so there's plenty of room in there and plenty of air places for the air to get around in there and keep things cooled off. But that has been taking up most of my time. I started on that this morning. I've been for the last couple of weeks. I've been hitting it about 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning, and don't get off sometimes till 7 or 8 at night. Just going through and making sure everything's done and all the details that need to be done. I don't like a set of plans that have been done half-arsed, as they say in down south. They're down under. If it's a cross section, I want it called out as a cross section. I want to have the cross section marks in there. I want to have them going opposites, and you know what I'm saying. I want it done right. I want to make sure I set up all the line weights in my layers box. I set up the line weights and the line types, and I like to. A lot of guys don't do that, and so you get a CAD drawing, and all the lines are the same weight, and it just doesn't look right to me. I like to have thicker lines for the object lines, thicker lines yet for the border lines. I like to have thin lines, about 10 thousandths thick for the hidden and the lines and the center lines. I like to have about 21 thousandths for the borders. I like for my hash mark lines. Those are 4 thousandths thick. Little, very, very.
Awesome.
I do a lot of things instead of using like my showing my engines or my motors, in hidden lines. I'll use these real thin, 4 thousandths thick lines, and I'll just have the whole drawing in there. Same thing, except you get, to me, it just looks a little better. You know what I mean?
For
So
sure.
I put a lot of time and effort into these drawings. If I counted up and I can because the CAD program keeps a running tally of how many hours I've got on the drawing. I'm surprised sometimes how many I wind up on it. And I sit there, I look at it and say, and I'm doing this for fun. Good thing I'm not doing it for a living because I'm not getting paid.
Yeah.
Wow.
So did you get your Cardinal into paint?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I just finished fiberglassing the nose tonight. I put the
Okay.
second coat of glue on it tonight on top of the fiberglass. It's looking real sharp. Turned out really good.
Good deal.
So I'm almost ready to start covering, and now I'm I'm really fighting. I'm gonna do the wings and the tails and iron on, but I'm really fighting to do it. Like there's part of me that still really wants to do it, open tissue finish, but I don't know. I just I don't have the silk span. The dope I have is pretty old, and it's just like I don't know if I want to wait till after Brodax to do it. So I don't know. I can't decide what to do.
Hey, what is?
You use up all that Brodak primer you got, man. Just throw all that Brodak primer.
I already made that go away a long time ago. It's long ago gone in a garbage pail. We'll never use that stuff again. I'm still using clear dope that was given to me by Windy in 2016. He gave me 10 or 12 quarts of clear dope that he had left over. I'm still using it up.
Brodak or SIG?
Brodak. No, he
Oh,
never
okay.
used SIG. Not for years and years. He
Len,
used only Brodak.
Get some zinc stearate from Randy Smith,
Right.
and mix that in with the clear for your filler coats. That really fills up well and sands off easily.
Well, I still have 8 cans of DC 540, the old mix.
That's good enough.
So I'm going to use that. I got to use it up on something, so I'll use it on this. It's good stuff. It's good stuff. So I'll use that.
Yeah.
But that's a good idea for future reference, though. I will get some of that zinc stearate. How much do you mix in? How much do you mix in the dope? Do you know what the mix is? Or should I? Well, I can ask Randy.
Yeah, it varies. I think it's like 10 or 20%.
Okay. All right. Thanks. That's a good idea.
Talking about that?
Yeah.
Yep. That's it.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I got this from Mac Henry when I helped him clean out his shop. I'm assuming it doesn't go bad, right?
No.
Yeah, it's just powder.
Oh, cool.
Mix in dope or lacquer, spray or brush on model. 2 to 4 tablespoons per quart is what it says.
Okay. There we go. What is it? 2 to 4? Did you say 2 to 4?
2 to 4 tablespoons per quart.
Per quart. Okay, depending on how thick a filler you want. That's awesome. Perfect. Thank you. That's awesome.
Yeah, if you can get your hands on Flume Silica, use that.
Flume Silica? What the heck is that?
It's the lightest filler there is. If you got the stuff that makes fillets, I can't think what they call it now.
Aeropoxy light.
Microblue.
No, that's the blue and the white. That filler. Superfill.
Superfill. Yeah, it's the same sort of stuff. Okay.
Superfill, only thing that is epoxy with Flume Silica in it.
Okay.
That's what makes it so light.
All right.
It's probably 5-10 times lighter than zinc stearate.
So question, what's the difference between Aeropoxy light and Superfill?
There is no difference.
Yeah, one's brown and the other one's blue. Yeah. Is it the same thing?
You talking about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is another Mac Henry gimme. He gave me two of
I
these.
love that stuff. That stuff works great.
They haven't been opened. I wonder if they're still in. God knows how old this stuff is.
Yeah, you never know. You're gonna have to stir it up real good with a popsicle stick.
It could be 20 years old if it came from Mac's shop.
Yeah, try it before you put it on a model.
Have you ever tried it?
No, I've never used it.
Okay, so I'll tell you what to do. Get yourself from the dollar store some of those little plastic shot glasses.
Yeah.
Okay. So then what you do is scoop some of, I don't think it's 50-50. Are the two containers the same size?
No, they're not.
2 to 1.
Okay, so it's 50% of 1 to 100%, like 2 to 1.
2 to 1. 2 to 1.
2 to 1. So to get your mix, what you're going to do is you're going to mix the 2 to 1 basically by weight. So what I do is I put a certain amount, like I weigh the cup,
Mm-hmm.
and then put your whatever amount. Let's say you put 6 grams in one cup and put 3 grams in the other cup on top of the weight of the cup, and that
Okay.
way you get it exact.
Mix it by weight. Okay.
Yeah, and it works great. The stuff's amazing.
Now, that's the way I did that. But with superfill, I do it by size. I just scoop some out, roll it in my hand in a ball, and set one there. Roll another one and set that there. When it's half the size, I mix them together for 2 to 1. But
Okay.
the Aeropoxy is stickier. You can't roll that in a ball.
No, you're not going to roll Aeropoxy in a ball. It's like glue almost.
Yeah. Superfill I like better. Sands easier, just because.
It does sand easier. You're right. I used Superfill last year for the first time, and you're right. It does sand easier than Aeropoxy Light. With Aeropoxy Light, you got to get it almost perfect. So in other words, you're going to put the filler on. What I use is an old BY&O prop for putting it in, Mike.
Yeah.
And then what I do when it's all done, first of all, before I start putting it on, I mask the wing with masking tape, like about, I'd say, between 1/4 and 3/8 of an inch from where it meets the fuselage. I mask all the way around the wing. And then I take short lengths of masking tape and I mask the fuse as well, about 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch away from the wing, all the way around the fuse. So you go all the way around the wing. Then I use the BY&O prop and scrape the epoxy all the way around so it makes a nice fillet, right?
Mm-hmm.
As soon as I'm finished getting it the way I want it, pretty much, I peel off all the tape. And that takes all the excess off because the excess goes on the tape, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's not in the fillet. Then what I do is I wet my finger and just wipe around it very lightly all the way around. That smooths it right out perfectly all the way around the wing. Gives you a nice, and that way when it dries, you have a real nice fillet and it doesn't take a lot of sanding.
Okay.
I like the steel ball bearings Jim Lee glued onto dowels and use that for shaping fillets too. Those are pretty handy.
Yeah, there's different ways
I try
guys are
to
doing it.
find ball bearings. I never could find different size ball bearings.
Guys use ball bearings, guys use marbles. Everybody tries something different, but I've found it works best for me with just a BY&O round bladed prop at the tip.
Yeah.
I've heard it in super balls too. The little rubber super balls.
Yeah, they might work too.
Yeah.
But
I
you
use
try a few things.
I use a spatulas I had from work, and they work good, but they're a rounded tip, and you can get wider ones and narrower ones and ones that, and I just grab that and do it. So yeah, anything that's rounded on the tip. I've actually even made some out of plywood.
Hey guys, I'm going to try sharing this again. We tried earlier, and we may have better bandwidth now. So let me try.
Yeah,
This is where
this
is where the Vanguard is now.
Didn't work, John.
No, we're good.
No.
Not yet.
On mine
So
it's
we
working.
got good bandwidth.
There it is. No.
Yeah, it's a blank screen on our side.
Blank screen here.
I'm seeing
Darn it.
John, you pulled
Okay.
up some porn. I'm seeing pornography right now.
Oh, really?
No, you're not.
Anybody you know?
It's just been a bad night for screen sharing.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get a hold of some flume silica for everybody, but it's such a pain to I'm still trying to figure out how I would divvy it up. Because back in the day, if you had a sack of pigment, say for white, that was this long by that wide by so thick, that weighed 50 pounds. And a bag of flume silica was about 3 foot tall and that big around, and it weighed 5 pounds. Twice as much of a bag and a tenth of the weight. But when we opened it, we had to be so careful because that shit would expand about 100 times. Float in the air. I mean, when we had somebody that spilt some of that shit, it could be a week to get it all cleaned up. Because the shit would hover. It almost looked like you know what? They take dry ice at these concerts, and the dry ice floats over the ground.
Yeah.
That'd be flume silica. The shit would be going down stairways. Looking like that, look like dry ice.
Like royal mess.
That's how light the stuff is. And it will it was an anti-sag agent is what we used it for. So when you spray painted and stuff, you know, the paint wouldn't sag on it in these commercial painters. You know, we did a lot of refrigerator doors and stuff like that. So when they painted it, the shit wouldn't sag going, you know, through the dryers and all the stuff it did. But that is the absolute lightest stuff, but it's just hell to work with. And I could get cans from the manufacturers. They'd bring it in. Salesmen, I'd have them bring me in a can. Had a big top on it, and you could just scoop a little bit out. But that's what we used for fillets and all that stuff back in the 80s. You know? But it's a thickening agent is what it is. But if you mix that up with dope, that would work great for filling on the balsa without adding. It's probably lighter. It's lighter than what the dope is. But I can get it on eBay, but it's expensive, and how they want to sell it in a little baggie for $20. It would last you forever probably, but it still seems a little bit high when
I've got enough micro balloons to last me forever, I think.
Yeah.
And that's only about I probably got about 16 ounces of them.
Do you mix that with dope as a filler?
I mix it with epoxy.
Oh, that's for fillets. That's a different thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just looking for filling wood and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I gotta get some of it and try it. But
I'm kind of about to face plant here. I'm going to have to
call her a night. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, but it looks like we, you know, if there's enough of y'all to hang out and visit all you want to, but I'm gonna go ahead and say goodbye. The YouTubers are down to about 6, and so appreciate all of them coming. Thank y'all. Good Monday night show. We kind of were off topic a lot, but hey, Monday night, I figure we can have an off topic night now and then. So everybody have a great week though. I'm looking forward to Friday. I will be back, and y'all hopefully can get out. Hopefully the weather's getting nice. We can get out a little bit more. I hope maybe I can get out actually and do something in the shop. I don't know. You know, things been coming and going for me lately. I'm ready for some nice warm weather where I can stay steady and get well. I'm tired of this. So anyway, y'all have a great week, and we'll see you back Friday night. And thanks for joining us. As soon as I can get my 3 dots up, I'll say good night for good. There they are. Come on, little dotties.
Good night there, Rusty.
Good night, Rusty.
Good night, John, Mike, everybody. Steve, thanks for coming, and we'll see y'all later. Until next
Okay.
time, same bat time, same bat channel. Good night.
Good night. You know, I just went over on Stunthangar. I posted a new post on my CAD Classics vendors in the vendors corner. Posted for Vanguard. If you want to see where I'm at with it right now, you can go over there and take a look at that.
I'll do it.